Alright, so here's Toss Start's sort of updated review of this Wilderness Trail 400 made by Baja. Overall, I gotta tell you, customer service has been both good and poor. Their expertise is limited to none. I've used this quad about 10 times overall. The rubber on the quad is just biodegrading on the constant velocity joints, and I mentioned that on a prior video. I had to replace the rubber here over the swing arm U-joint, and the CV joint rubber is starting to crack. You can see the cracks in it. And this is primarily sitting in the garage. It hasn't been used more than, I'm sure, 10 times. The winch system, the pictures they show at Canadian Tire, or did at the time, I'm not even sure if the Tire carries them anymore, shows the winch up here, which is totally impossible. They're showing the actual roller fairlead up here. I had to manufacture my own plate to put the winch in. But right now, what's really got me annoyed. Okay, so this is the real annoyance for me. This quad decided that it was going to leave me stranded in the bush, and I luckily was going in by about 90 miles into the bush, and I dumped it off the truck and made it just a couple hundred yards into the bush, which was far enough for this old fellow to be pushing a quad, and it just stopped running, and it wouldn't run anymore, and I couldn't get any ignition to come on, no lights on my ignition, nothing, everything went. Now the expert there, Serge at Baja, reassured me, because I gave him a chance to replace this regulator, which is the second regulator, for free. He reassured me that this regulator can't actually start on fire by itself, and that I didn't let him finish his sentence. Well, let's just test that theory. Now, I've taken the regulator off, which incidentally, if you look close, okay, so right here, you can see where the first regulator started this here on fire in here. The whole back of the regulator, I came out of the house, and luckily I came out of the house, and I smelt smoke for just, I couldn't understand, where is the smoke coming from? So I looked around my garage, and I found out it was this regulator was on fire. It was actually smoldering and smoking, and it completely fried the battery, which that run me 135 bucks. And you can see right here where it had smoked. Now this is my second regulator, which I bought, and I think it was 135 bucks. And this guy assures me that Serge assures me that these things cannot start on fire by themselves, and I don't let him finish the sentence, and hung up on me. At Baja Service. Okay, well, let's just test that theory. So now we go to the relay. I removed the regulator, and how I found this out last of all the pieces, because I put a brand new regulator on, and I suspicioned that it wouldn't be it because it was brand new, right? How I did this is I found that the fuse, the main fuse, was blowing. So I began removing one part at a time and reinserting the fuse. Now, we put the fuse in, no spark. There's the fuse seated. Fuse works fine. Let's go up here to the ignition panel. Nice, beautiful, lovely lights, which is what I had hoped for when I was in the bush. Okay. Remove the fuse. Now let's reinsert Serge's famous thing. Now this was the flaw the last time. For some unknown reason, this fuse never blew. The current continued through to the regulator, and because of the faulty regulator, it started itself on fire. Now we will put the regulator back on, come back up here, and let's just test this to see what happens. I don't know if you can see that. I don't want to pop the fuse because I got to go buy a new one. Stand by. Okay, so for the purpose of having it's going to be a little dark for you guys probably to see, but this is your starter motor relay. Primary charges everything on this quad, goes through this relay. There's your positive and your negative to the battery. Okay? And Serge assures me that it can't burn the house down. Well, there's the fuse installed. Okay? The difference is this is not installed. Now if I installed that right now, it's going to pop that instantly. And I'll prove that to you. Now if I go up here, there we go. Backlight's on. Everything's working. That's what I wanted to see in the bush. But unfortunately I didn't see anything. Just dead. Okay, so now I take out the fuse. Come down here, 18 inches away. Reinstall the regulator. That's all I'm doing. You can see it'll be seamless. Up to here. And let's test what happens. As soon as I install that, there you go. Now if I continue to push this in, I want to try and save this fuse. Okay? So much for Serge's theory. The regulator is fried, and what happened the first time, for some unknown reason, this safety fuse never blew, which allowed the current to flow through here to this regulator, which caused the regulator to actually start on fire. And when I asked them, that their choice was to give me another regulator, the second one for free, and I wish I wouldn't have thrown my old one away, or have a scathing review on YouTube of the Baja Wilderness Trail 400 quad, he rooted me out. So here's a scathing review, and here's your proof. There it is again. Let's go directly to here. Remove the regulator. Go back to here. There it is. Perfect. Installed and lights action. So there you go. And that's just one of the problems that I got to tell you with these things. It's just my advice to anyone that's considering buying one of these things, don't. If you buy it from Canadian Tire, you'll find out they don't sell any parts. You'll have to deal with a local person, which you can't get any help from, or I'm too busy, or something else, and there you are. Then you phone them, you got no expertise, they haven't a clue. So, now if I would have taken this to the handyman for these, it would have cost me hundreds and hundreds of dollars at 90 bucks an hour or whatever they charge to go through the electrical system in this thing, which that's what I had to do, is start removing components one at a time and reinserting. Okay, reinserting this. And it's already cost me a $135 battery. This was $135. Replace that. Now the constant velocity joints, this rubber, and I'm sure the list is going to go on. So there's Toss Start's review. Thank you for your help, Serge, It was appreciated. I didn't ask for this regulator because I wanted to save $135. It's just, you guys pissed me off and nearly left me 90 miles in the bush, and it's because your quads suck ass. Okay? Signing off, toss start. Oh, and by the way, this is where they install their regulator. And as you can notice, the water would just run straight into it if you're in the bush. I mean, you're spraying mud all in here, and what are they made for, desert terrain? I don't know, but they're certainly not up to the Alberta bush for anybody that's considering buying one. And I'm going to be stuck with this one for a while until I can trade it off or sell it on Kijiji or something. But in any case, I don't really wish it on my worst enemy, but I'm going to be taking the new regulator and putting it up somewhere out of the mud, because installing a regulator down in this spot here is ridiculous. I mean, come on, it's right down in the mud. This is where it sprays all the mud up from the wheels, and the regulator, right where those two bolts are there, that's where it bolts onto. Yeah, that's where it bolts onto. Okay, toss start.